Welcome to the video demonstration for the fifth and final lab in the FortiAnalyzer course, Reports. My name is Bob Cunningham. I'm an instructor here at Fortinet. In this video we will look at how to generate reports and build charts. First, let's just start by going over and logging into our lab environment, our FortiAnalyzer. I will select an ADOM and select the Reports tile. From here, I'm going to be at All Reports, and I'm going to choose the 360-degree Security Report Review. Click on Settings. Time period is going to be, I'm going to pick just today. All devices, single report, and click Apply. Click View Report, and then click Run Report. Once it tells us it's running, and there it is. Let's view it in HTML. We could have chose PDF, comma separated values, XML. Here is our 360-degree security review. So if we scroll down here, we can see a summary of applications, threats. Get some more details under application visibility here. There aren't any high-risk applications, but there are listed here 20 potentially that you could have, meaning top 20. There's severity, application category. So you can see here we've got most of this is web clients, some general internet web traffic unknown coming through here. We've got a series of web applications, just risk levels 2 and 3. We have some web filtering. Then we start to have actual threats. And when we come across these threats, we not only get to see the threat, but this is not just a list, it's a hyperlink. So if you click on that, it takes you over to FortiGuard Labs, and you can learn more about this particular threat, which is a Trojan. So that might be something you want to do some remediation on. Going back, we've got data exfiltration, endpoint detection, intrusion attacks, recommended actions. So what should we do here? It looks like there's some botnet and malware infections. There's no evasive applications, no peer-to-peer right now. But we get some detailed actions on what we should do to mitigate our botnet. So the last thing I want to talk about regarding reports is what happens if they're slow, if you're not seeing what you think you should see. Is there any way to troubleshoot what's happening with the reports? And there is something we want to look at here for that. But to look at it, we need to go back to the FortiAnalyzer. You recall that this is a tab that pulled out a separate tab for the report. So go back to FortiAnalyzer, go back to our report, highlight it, right-click it, and retrieve diagnostics. So let's go ahead and just open that. And we can see all kinds of details here about the diagnostics. the data when the report ran, what ADOM it's associated with, how much space there's available on the hard drive. That could cause a problem if there wasn't enough space. Much memory. There's all kinds of diagnostics that this report generates. These things could be useful if you're trying to troubleshoot an issue with reports. Speaking of that, if we go down to the very bottom of the report, we'll see the Hcache build time. You recall that's the cache that contains all the information we pull from for reports. If the Hcache is not auto-generating, then we can have some issues with delay on our reports. So let's go check on that. Close this out. Go back to All Reports. Select the 360-degree Security Review. Select Edit. Choose Settings. Click on Enable Auto Cache and Apply. And now we're set up to automatically update that cache and therefore build your report more quickly. As we finish up this lab, let's start taking a look at how to build a chart. We would use a chart to create several charts, perhaps, to put into a custom report. In order to access those charts, in order to create a chart, we need to leave the report area, go up to our tiles, and go to Log View. And under Log View, we're going to look at Security, Intrusion Prevention. We want to filter this output. Now, we could filter the output in a couple different ways. We could come down here, for instance, and see an attack. Now, by default, if you were in a live FortiAnalyzer, you would not see the attack name. What I've done up here is I have previously come over to this tile-like icon, and I clicked on More Columns, and I selected attack name, which was not selected by default. So now I see attack name, and I can highlight that attack, right-click it, I find the attack name here, and click on that either to include it or with the exclamation point, the Boolean not symbol. Click that, and now I've included the attack name, so I only see logs that match that attack. Let me clear that filter out, and let's talk about another way. We can come up to the Add Filter button, and perhaps I want to include a cross-site scripting attack. This is a previous history. I could come down here where it says Filter, add the attack name, and then type out the attack, or I've already looked this up, so cross-site scripting. I could add another filter to have the SQL here. Now what this is going to show is cross-site scripting and this attack. So let's go ahead and modify that. Click on the filter icon. You'll see the actual text. Let me put OR in here, and you'll see that the logs now display attacks from cross-site scripting or from the SQL injection. Now we're going to take and create a custom view that we'll use in just a few moments. Click on the custom view area. Give it the name of training. Click OK, and this is our custom view called training, and we're going to reference that in just a few moments. Before we move on to building the next step in building our charts, just because we've created this custom view doesn't mean we cannot modify it. So how do we go about modifying this? Well, let's start with this. I'm going to change the columns here and add the source IP. I'm going to change the filter. Let me click the X to clear the filter. And go to maybe a different filter. Here's another one. Just two other items. Now I've made these two changes. Go to Custom View. Tell it to save. And now those changes are part of my custom view. Now we're ready to start using the chart builder. So we're going to go up to the Tools section right here in the upper right-hand corner. And come down here to Chart Builder. Let's give it a name. Training chart, very creative. Let's select what columns, the date and time, device ID, severity. Let's choose the source IP instead of destination, which apparently we don't have available right now. That's okay. We can keep destination. Attack name for sure. Let's include that. Let's order by the date and time. Let's sort by descending. That's fine. 500 is our limit. Let's preview that to make sure it still looks good. It does, and let's save that. Let's call it Training Chart 2. Apparently I've already done this. Now that we have a chart, let's go ahead and run a report against that chart and make it useful. So we're going to have to go from our log view to our report view. Back up to the tiles, click on that, click on reports. We want to be in all reports, which we are. Create new. Call it training report. Create from blank. And click OK. Now, we're in the Settings tab. Right here. Again, we called it Training Report. Time period. Last 7 days will be fine. Let's make it all devices. One report. And click Layout. We're going to insert our chart here. It'll be stored under Intrusion Prevention. And we'll type in Training Chart 2. We can give it any title we want to, but Training is a good title. Click OK. Click Apply. And now we have our custom report. In the View Report tab, Run Report, and the report is available to us as HTML, PDF, XML, or comma-separated values. And that brings us to the end of our final lab. We hope you've gotten something useful out of this. We appreciate your being interested in and learning about FortiAnalyzer and all of our Fortinet security products.